For the past 2 months, I have been running a smaller business with eBay. Since the end of my desire to continue running eBay at a scalable level, I dropped all of my advertising fees down to zero and then tested the system to make sure I scientifically found out through mathematics as to whether advertising was the way to go in order to make money versus profit, or in order to do turnover and get some profit from that. During this time, I started off with 0%, no advertising fees whatsoever, and an anchor with approximately £600,000 of stock, combining 38,000 items. In that time, I have slowly introduced advertising fees, and I'm now going to show you, or now going to tell you, how it went. Right now, I'm sitting at an advertising rate, a combined advertising rate of 6% with eBay. That's along with the fees and the end listing fees. I am no longer a top-rated seller, but I will tell you why that is the case in another video. Right now, I am an above standard seller, and my feedback rating is 99.8%. And of the £600,000 worth of stock, I am doing an average of £3,000 a week. This is at 6% advertising rate, but I'm going to share with you how well I did back when I decided at zero not to advertise with eBay. I call this passive. When you're at 0% advertising rate, this is known as passive sales. In other words, what you just naturally sell on eBay. And because I sell batteries, books, general goods, fashion, and other miscellaneous, that had led to an average of about £1,200 a week in sales, passively. When I started to regress and I decided to put 2% advertising fees on, that was approximately 2 weeks ago, my sales went from £1,200 to nothing, which was really strange because it panicked me a bit as to maybe I flicked a button off to turn off all my stock. But my sales went from £1,200 down to zero, and I couldn't understand why. Looking at that, I decided to edit the listing and put it at 4%. That immediately turned the sales within 2 days from zero back up to approximately £2,000 a week, of which the fees started coming out for advertising. Then what happened was I realized that by pushing it a little bit more, another 2%, that knocked it up to approximately £3,000 of sales. As time has progressed, I've noticed that the sales have went up and down from about £2,200 to £3,000. So I say £2,200 to £3,000 a week. Now, if I choose to put it up to 8%, I feel that I will get another £500 to £800 a week in sales if I put it up to 8%. That is going to happen, and I will do another video as to that. This is a absolutely precise mathematical equation given actually a week at zero, 2 days at 2% because it near destroyed me. I thought I'd done something wrong. A week at 4%, and now 2 weeks at 6%, earning an average of £3,000. It seems to go up an average of, for every 2%, your sales rise an average of between £500 and £800 extra for 2% more advertising rate. I don't want to go to the 12% advertising rate, but next week when I get back off my holiday from Turkey, I am going to put it up to 8% and then see how it sucks to see if I can get it up to £4,000 of sales a week. Now, that's going to be hard push for me given the fact that I'm now a one-man band back to 3 hours a day working off eBay, and I don't particularly want to employ new staff. So drawing it to 8% may take too much of my time, and then I might just simply put it back down to 6%. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Goldilocks temperature of what is and what isn't a good sales day. To me, an average of £500 to £800 a day is good for me, and it does well for my profit line given the fact that I haven't staff to pay out or other costs associated with staff. So what I've got to do is I'm going to do another video when I get back from my holiday, and I will show you how much 8% will make in regards to a company that has approximately 600 grand of stock with eBay. As regard to the Amazon sales, well, I don't really have to advertise. I just simply sell the books and they sell. So I make an average of £2,000 a month with Amazon, and that's good enough for me. That's all I need. In total, I could make up to £4,000 a week, and I'm happy with that. So, without further ado, this is just a report on what's been happening. I will now talk about why I was dropped from a top-rated seller down to a above standard seller. Recently, there has been a lot more people returning stock saying item not described. And the item not described item has been, from what I can see, as described. And they're using this, I see, as a new scam. This is a way, it's not a new scam, it's quite long, but a lot more people are catching onto it, where they can get free return costs by just simply saying it's not as described. And eBay have really not dealt with these issues. They've not allowed us, when we report, to ban these sellers, and it's getting worse. It's actually rising. The amount of not as described people, when I look at the description, it seems to be as described, is absolutely deafening. It's getting worse as we continue. So I was knocked down for having a high level of not as described returns, which is unfair because I don't have the time. And I really don't have the inclination to keep calling eBay every time I have a case to fight, asking for the not as described and get my return of my postage, which doesn't happen because you're fighting them. It's really frustrating having to call eBay and ask them to see sense when they say, well, we trust the seller as well as the buyer, so we can't take sides. Therefore, if the seller says it's not as described, then it's simply not as described. This is not something I want to continue. And I'm finding this is one of eBay's issues with regard to buyer fraud. And as fraud continues to be got away with, more fraud will it continue, or more and more fraud will happen. This is something we have to address. And eBay, if you are watching, and I hope you are, I have noticed that you have been reaching out to me and doing things for me that I've never seen in the 23 years that I've been with eBay. Is it because I'm a YouTuber and you're not just simply reaching out to me personally? You have my number. It's in the bio. Call it if you want, or just go onto my account and find out. But I've noticed that you are doing a lot of good things at the minute. So maybe you're starting to listen to my complaints, because I won't be a yes man. I will not forgive what you guys did to me. But I will go forward trying to help eBay sellers get better and more successful. And the returns that go on, such as the not as described returns, are absolutely atrocious right now. You guys see it in your statistics, I know you do. And every seller is facing this problem. Rather than just simply give the customer their money back before they get to return it, when it's not then a part of the schematics or your bad seller rating, it has to be taken out of your bad seller rating. It's not fair that so much that is intended by customer fraud should be held against you. So I ask you, eBay, while you're listening, and I know you are on my channel, I know you've been listening, I ask you, please sort this not as described issue out. Remove it from the analytics of our performance. You should be focusing on how quick we deliver and how good our products are and how many we sell and how much customer feedback we get. The not as described is a fraudulent way of getting free returns. That's it. And that's what everyone is doing. I've been challenged to think to myself, I can get a free return. And it's so easy to do it because you're not going to be held to account for doing it. And I know eBay, you are not holding people to account for sending so many not as described returns. It's getting bigger, and you just take a look at the statistics. I am aware that you guys are aware of this problem. Let's just turn it off for good. Let's make sure we can correct it. Anyway, listen, it's been a pleasure talking to everyone, including you and eBay. I'm going to continue doing my packing before my last day. This is my last day here before I go on holiday. I'm really glad I'm going a wee bit of a break because this is my first break since the start of the year. It's been atrocious. eBay done this where they turned off my business and we lost a major amount of staff due to GPSR and other things eBay done. It ruined my company from 10 staff down to just me. I am happy where I am, but I'm not happy about the way I was treated. Not after 23 years of business and millions of pounds of stock has went through eBay's customers. So for that reason, I will always despise eBay and what they did to my company that took me 8 years to build. So I will call it a day and thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and I'll see you in the next round. Good luck.